What is up, guys? Python here, back with another video, and today we are going to be, by the way, sorry about my hair in advance. I just got out of the shower, to be completely honest with you guys. But today we are going to be talking about we're just going to be talking about the rumors that Pavel Buchnevich could be on his way out as a New York Ranger. And first I'm going to give my thoughts, then we're going to go to Twitter, because I did ask you guys on Twitter to give your thoughts of a Pavel Buchnevich trade, of what you'd want. I have not looked at the replies. I've seen that I got replies, so we have 6 here, 7, but one of them's just my reply, just saying, because I ended up tweeting, I want to make a video on this, so let's hear it. Give me your trade packages for Pavel Buchnevich. This is gonna crush my soul. And then I said in a reply to myself, to be clear, I know it's not a guarantee he gets moved, which I want to specify this here because it isn't a guarantee that he's going to get moved. And I said, it's not a guarantee he's going to get moved. And I know that he just had to give an answer, meaning Chris Drury, on the subject. I know he had to give an answer, so that was the best he could give. But either way, I'm intrigued to hear what everyone thinks his value is. So we will read the replies after I give my personal thoughts on Pavel Buchnevich potentially not being a New York Ranger next year. And like I said in my tweet, it would crush my soul to not see this guy play for the Rangers next year. He put up, this was the best year he's ever had, and I don't want to hear the bullshit of it was in a small sample size, it's a shortened season. I don't want to hear none of the bullshit, none of the excuses or anything. I don't want to hear it. He's clearly shown steps going forward ever since he's been in the NHL. He's been progressing every single season, and he's about to hit his prime. He is, I believe, 26 right now, if I'm not mistaken. He is 26. Don't know how I knew that off the top of my head, but I'll take it because it was useful here. But that's besides the point. He's 26, and he's first entering his prime, and he had the best season of his career. He was showing strides at the end of the 1920 season, and then this season he was just, my god, he would have scored 30 goals in a normal season, because he did end up finishing with 20 goals. He most likely would have scored 30 in a normal season. He slid in on the penalty kill and was very effective on the penalty kill. I believe 94% on the penalty kill, according to Jay Fresh. Shout out to Jay Fresh there. So 94% on the penalty kill, really effective there. He was arguably the most important, he was the most consistent forward arguably all season long. All season long he was arguably the most consistent guy, especially when you had Zibanejad struggle at the beginning of the season. You had his line mate Kreider struggle at the beginning of the season. Those two guys are his line mates. They struggled, or Kreider didn't struggle in the beginning, I should say. It flip-flopped there. And the only guy that was consistent on that KZB line, which I don't think should be a line next year, I think Lafreniere should get that line personally if we don't get Eichel, which apparently the plan is they want to play Eichel and Lafreniere, make that a duo there, and then they want to have Panarin and Zibanejad play together. That would be dirty, but that's a whole other subject for another time. Jack Eichel, I'm not going to get into that right now. But to me personally, it would hurt the way that he played this season. It would hurt for him to go. However, I do not mind it as much if it does mean we do get a guy like Zach Hyman. And the reason why I am saying this, and the reason why I want Ranger fans to hear me out here. All right, hear me out for a second here. So, Ranger fans, let's go. What was the problem? What was the problem last season? That's right, the Tom Wilson incident, and we didn't have enough grit. That's why we were the way that we were. So this is not a fault of the Rangers for potentially moving on from Buchnevich, because they need to go from skill to grit, which, by the way, Zach Hyman provides both, which is why I'm so intrigued by bringing him in as a replacement, honestly. And the reason it makes sense is, one, Buchnevich is probably going to cost more. Two, the league screwed themselves over. This is what happens, and this is why I don't want to hear any hate for Chris Drury for the Goudreau deal. I don't want to hear hate if he does pay Zach Hyman what he's worth, which would probably be in the $5.5–6 million ballpark. I don't want to hear anyone say this is on Chris Drury. This is on the NHL Department of Player Safety. This is all on them, because if this incident doesn't happen, or if this incident's handled the way it should have been, which should have been a suspension for Wilson, we're not sitting here in this problem. This is a completely different story if the Tom Wilson incident was handled properly. We don't overpay for guys like this. And this is now what the market's going to be for guys like this, because you have to pay now to protect your players, because the Department of Player Safety is not going to do their job to protect players. And that's where I had the problem with Jeff Gordon and John Davidson distancing themselves from the statement. It was a bold statement, and it's true, because now we're sitting here in a spot where we have to construct the roster so differently because of the fact that one incident to our superstar player changed the whole game. And I shouldn't say one incident, because we did have Tom Wilson with Brandon Carlo earlier in the season. We've had plenty of incidents, and congratulations to Tom Wilson. If this was your goal, to make the Rangers reconstruct their entire roster, you did it. Good job. If this incident is handled the way it should have been, we probably don't spend the money on Barclay Goodrow the way we do. And we have way worse contracts on the team than Barclay Goodrow's contract's going to be. Jacob Trouba, I don't want to hear that he had a good year. I don't. He is still not worth $8 million. He's worth more, $5 to $6 million. I'll say that. But he's not worth $8 million. The Kreider deal looks awful. Really bad. Because you could easily right now be having Buchnevich stay and get Zach Hyman, but Gordon shot himself in the foot with the Kreider deal for a guy who's just inconsistent as hell. And the only thing that he really does is bring leadership to the team, which, sure, I guess it's important, because to me, I think that he should be the captain, because his inconsistent play has nothing to do with that. Just to be clear with that before someone goes in the comments and tells me that, so you want him to be the captain, but you said he's inconsistent. No, that just is not how the captaincy works. Look around the league. Anders Lee's not the best player on the Islanders. Has the C on his jersey. Claude Giroux's not the best player on the Flyers. Has the C on his jersey. You get my point. You get my point that not the best player gets the C on their jersey. And that's a whole other discussion, because it doesn't matter with this. But the point is that I do not mind upgrading, or if you want to call it an upgrade, if you want to call it a downgrade, call it what you want. I do not mind replacing Pavel Buchnevich with Zach Hyman, because Zach Hyman proves that he has proven that he could be a top 6 guy. I personally have wanted Zach Hyman since the start of the offseason, even towards the end of the end of the previous season that we just had. I've wanted Zach Hyman for a pretty long time now, and I think that he would be a great acquisition to shore up the top 6 and to add some grit to the team. And it's not just grit from him. He also provides a skill, which is what's huge for me. And that's where the hypocrisy from some Ranger fans kick in. I'm not saying all of you. I'm saying some fans. You guys, some of you said the problem is we don't have enough physicality. And then when we go to add some physicality, you guys are saying that we're overpaying, and you're saying that no, this is not a good idea doing stuff like this, but this is what we have to do. And again, this is not the Rangers' fault that they have to spend the money like this. This is, again, on the Department of Player Safety. This is all on them. Let's get to your guys' trade packages for Buchnevich. So realistically, for me, I don't even know what they're gonna do. I'd imagine he's part of the Eichel deal. I'd imagine he's. I don't even know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're going to do with Pavel Buchnevich. But let's get to Twitter now. Sorry, all right. Just wanted to get the tweets pulled up here, but before we do get into the tweets, I do just want to quickly say that, listen, if you guys want to have your own opinion of Buchnevich's value. If you think that I'm wrong about the way that the Rangers are going to reconstruct the roster, hey, you're entitled to your opinion, but this is just my opinion. And before we also get into it, I need to talk about Fade Grips sponsorship here, sponsor plug. But you could get 20, that is 20, or is it 10? I have not I haven't done this in a while, but you could get some sort of percentage off. We'll say that. I believe 20% off of Fade Grips, which is grips for your controller, just like the ones that I just showed. And you could do that using code Python with the link in the description. They also have controller cases. They have other stuff like apparel with shirts, hoodies, snapbacks. They have it all. So be sure to check them out. But let's do it. Trade number 1 coming in from Nick NYR30. Thank you for sending this in. He says Eichel in parentheses if it's the right price, or Horvat, but with a guy like Buch, you need to acquire an equal or better player. Yeah, the Horvat thing I heard was not true, and that's just something that Rangers Twitter completely made up, which just doesn't shock me. But yeah, Eichel, of course, I do expect him to most likely be part of that trade package. Horvat, we need to get more than Horvat, in my opinion. Buchnevich is a better player than Horvat, in my opinion. So, or not even just in my opinion, the stats back up that Buchnevich is a better player than Bo Horvat. But yeah, I agree. You do need to acquire an equal or better player. So maybe if you get a pick, or maybe if you get a defenseman with Bo Horvat, it would be a little bit better, and I'd be a little more intrigued. But yeah, I'd imagine he's part of the Eichel trade either way. But trade number 2, Frank White at the King of NY or New York _. Thank you for sending this in. He says Buch, Strome, Jones, 2021 first and 2022 second pick for Eichel. See, yeah, that's really where we're getting down to what realistically is going to be the trade, which, by the way, Buffalo fans, I told you that you weren't getting any of our top guys, but that's besides the point. But with this trade right here, yeah, this is pretty fair value for Jack Eichel. I've seen that it's either Strome or it's Phil Pedal in that spot for one of the centers, and I've seen Jones or Robertson as the flip-flop guys there. So yeah, this would be a fair deal. I mean, I wouldn't mind this. It seems inevitable that Buch is out the door either way, so you might as well include him in the Eichel trade. So yeah, I would be good with something like this. Not that I'm still the biggest fan of us getting Eichel because of his cap hit, but that would be a decent deal. Here we go. Trade number 3 from 10NYR5. Thank you for sending this in. If we trade Buch, all I wanted to be for is Eichel. I didn't know when I was asking this, it was going to be just Jack Eichel. But no, that's fine. It's understandable too that it makes sense, and it's just logical that you would throw him into an Eichel package. So yeah, that makes sense. So I'm not going to really get on anyone for saying that. Trade number 4, at Ranger Fan Daniel, Buch, Cheadle, Jones, 2021 first and a 2022 second for Jack Eichel. Literally the exact same trade as the other guy, but he said make the second a third round pick, actually. So yeah, again, that's fair value right there. I'm not going to go in depth with this because it's literally the same exact trade package as the other one. So that's all I'm going to say there. New York Style 24, shout out to you because you are a real one. You're always interacting in these videos, so thank you so much for keeping that up. But he says put him in the Eichel trade. That's the only trade he should be a part of. If we could avoid trading him, that would be the best, like everyone else is saying. And then a Sabres fan replied saying Sabres wouldn't want an unsigned RFA. He obviously wouldn't commit to Buffalo. I don't know if that's necessarily true because of the fact that he is an RFA, and let's say a team does decide to offer sheet him, or you could flip him for other young talent. So I don't necessarily think that's true, that he wouldn't, that wouldn't make sense there just because he's an RFA. The last trade that we do have is from Empire Falcons. So shout out to you. Thank you for sending this in. He says, I'm only trading him if he's part of the Eichel package. I mean, we didn't really get anything other than just the Eichel package. I guess we got one Bo Horvat, but I get it. That's really what everyone wants, and that's the most realistic thing to happen. So that's pretty fair. But Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I don't have much else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, leave a like. Comment down below if you didn't get featured on Twitter, which, by the way, follow me on Twitter so you could get featured in videos like this. Comment down below what you think Pavel Buchnevich's value is at right now and what you would trade him for. If it's not Jack Eichel, maybe, because I'd like to hear something different, because apparently St. Louis is a team that's really interested. So give me maybe some packages of St. Louis. Give me some to Nashville. That's another rumored team. So give me your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.